Hello, welcome to my channel. I had done a video previously on the men that were missing in Okmulgee. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Oklahoma. It was two of them were brothers. I believe their names were Mark Chastain, Billy Chastain, and then there's two other men. And this is well, he mentions their names here: Mark Chastain, Billy Chastain, Mark Sparks, and Alex Stevens. And they did a press conference today, and I tried to type up what he said, and please forgive me if I didn't get it exactly right, or if I didn't get the words perfect, or if I didn't spell anything correctly. And I know I made a few spelling errors, but I didn't do the spell check thing. And also when he answered questions, I tried to put those on here, but I didn't put the questions in here that were asked. I just put like a note of what it might have been about in parentheses here and there. And so that if you wanted to read it, you could see it, and so that I would have it. Because sometimes I like to be able to read what they said instead of just hearing it. That way it's easier for me to go back and say, oh, he said this, and oh, he said that, and that type of thing. And so he mentioned a Mr. Kennedy with the salvage, right? Yard. So, and the names of the streets. So I looked up Mr. Kennedy Scrapyard to try to find it, and it comes up with the A&A Salvage Yard, which is owned by Joe Kennedy. So then you go looking for it, and it looks like it's this one, which says 236 Road. I don't see the 20th Street, but I do see 75. It does mention that 75 is here. So, and he did mention that there were other businesses right there. So I'm not sure if this is the one they were at, because he said he owned a couple, but it looks like it might be, right? Because there's a lot of area right here. So I'm wondering if it was this one. And wow, you can just see this just goes on, but I'm not sure, like I said, if this is this is the right property, because they said that he owned two properties, and one was a scrap yard and one was a salvage yard when he referred to it, and I'm not sure which one. And that there were other businesses, three other businesses as well, and that it looked like the crime had happened on the property of another business. I may not be wording that exactly correct, but this was years ago. I think it was, what was it, 2012? It says January 2012. So this was over 10 years ago. And I don't know if it's the same man, but it says Saturday afternoon business break-in shooting left one person wounded near shelter in Okmulgee County. The sheriff's deputies responded to a report of a gunshot victim at 2 p.m. at A&A Auto Salvage and right here at 2236 Road. The business owner told deputies he had interrupted 6 individuals who were in the process of burglarizing his business. One of the alleged burglars was shot. The other 5 fled the area. The person who was shot was airlifted to Tulsa Hospital. The 5 other suspects were located during the manhunt by officers of the Oklahoma Highway Patrol, Creek Nation Light Horse, the Henrietta Police Department, and the investigators from the District Attorney's Office. The SBI will assist the Okmulgee County Sheriff's Office with the investigation. So it sounds like it might have been the same man, if it was that man. They didn't say for sure that that man was the man that did this, but, and then here it is, January 9th, they mention it. So you can see 5 people were arrested, including a juvenile, and business break-in and shooting that left one person wounded near a shelter in Okmulgee County. The deputies responded to a report of a gunshot victim about 2 p.m. Saturday at A&A Auto Salvage. The business owner told deputies he had interrupted. So it's got the same information, and it mentions the names of the people, which it's not the same names of the people that were recent. So, and I don't even know if the people that were recently what happened, if they were even aware that this had happened in the past. And so here's another page. And I hope my voice isn't breaking up. When they have a lot of ads, my voice breaks up. So, and I just wanted you to see that, and I just wanted to make a note of that there. And this is press conference. He talks about it, and like I said, you can pause this and read it if you want to, so that you have it. And talks about Deep Fork River at the Sharp Road Bridge, and I just wanted to also show you the distance between them, because if that is where it took place, right here, because they said 20th Street, I believe. Hold on, let me look. He said the salvage yard on 20th Street, and the owner of both salvage yards, Joe Kennedy. So, and it, all right, so here is Sharp Road. Is that where that bridge is, right? Sharp Road may be right here over this water. So that's 13 minutes from here. I'll zoom in. And okay. And I'm not sure where the 20th Street is, but so you can see that area right there. And then I'll zoom back out. But it says that's only, it's less than 10 miles away, right? I don't know if there's a back way to get there, but, and there's the Deep Fork River right there. And there's Sharp Road, so would this probably be the bridge, right? I would think the bridge would be right here, but I'm not positive. I don't live in that area, so I'm just thought I would look up a map to see if, how far away it is. So it looks like it's all near the edge of town, but it's pretty horrific. So I don't know if you're aware of what happened, but we'll go through what he said today. It said that he says his name, and he says he's the police chief for the city of Okmulgee, and he's got a statement related to the four-man case that they were working on, and you can read this. See, I didn't even put two L's in following. It says the human remains discovered at the Deep Fork River at the Sharp Road Bridge have been positively identified as Mark Chastain, Billy Chastain, Mark Sparks, and Alex Stevens, although official cause and manner of death is still pending. Each victim suffered gunshot wounds, and all four bodies were dismembered before being placed in the river, and that is what caused difficulty in determining identity, he says, and that's why it took so long. And he said he got the call about 10 o'clock last night. The river appears to be a dump site. The investigation is now a murder investigation. Investigators worked all weekend recovering the bodies from the river and sifting through information obtained during the missing persons portion of the investigation. Based on information obtained during the course of the investigation, we believe the men planned to commit some type of criminal act when they left the residence on West 6th Street. That belief is based on information supplied by a witness who reports they were invited to go with the men to quote-unquote hit a lick big enough for all of them. It says that we do not know what they planned or where they planned to do it. Task force officers continue to investigate and will do so until all leads are exhausted. A very methodical search was conducted Saturday at the salvage yard on 20th Street as well as surrounding properties. Nothing remarkable was observed inside the salvage yard, but evidence of a violent event was discovered on an adjoining property. The owner of both salvage yards, Joe Kennedy, is considered a person of interest, but no charges have been filed. Investigators would like to speak with him again. Mr. Kennedy was reported missing Saturday night and may be suicidal. He is last believed to be driving a blue Chrysler PT Cruiser bearing Oklahoma license LSA 245. During the missing person portion of the investigation, we were very liberal with information releases in an attempt to find the man. Once the investigation changed to a murder investigation, we will be much more conservative with the information to protect the integrity of the investigation. And then he wanted to recognize the agencies that assisted so far, and he mentioned them, and I may not have spelled them correctly or understood them correctly, but please forgive me if I didn't. And light horse might be supposed to be one word. Anyway, it says we have no idea. This is one of the questions, and they didn't know what they were planning on doing. They said Mr. Kennedy's a person of interest and currently not a suspect, and they're not releasing his photo. Probably not, because until he's a suspect. And so then there's him answering questions and talking about how he's worked so hard, and they've all worked so hard, and they've been working around the clock, and they don't have the other bicycles, they don't have a description of the other bicycles. They haven't recovered the gun, he says, and he's not releasing the information about the type of the gun. He doesn't have any evidence to indicate that Mr. Kennedy is a threat to anyone else. But he said he would use caution, and if you see him, just to call the authorities. You shouldn't really approach him, and I wouldn't approach him. And it says they're not releasing yet what the evidence is that they recovered. And then he talks about how he's worked over 80 murders in his career. How horrific. I bet he has nightmares. And he says he's worked murders involving multiple victims. He's worked dismemberments, but this case involves the highest number of victims, and it's a very violent event, so I can't say so I just, wow, I feel terrible for him. I know somebody has to do that job, but that's pretty horrific. Let's see. So, and then he estimated that maybe late Sunday night, early Monday morning is when they might have dumped the bodies. So there's, I don't really think he can say that he was in fear for his life if he chopped up the body, but I don't know. I guess I shouldn't even guesstimate any of these things. I'll just give you the information. So, and it talks about the water, how it affects different things, and he talked about Mr. Kennedy appeared to be cooperative, and he said, no, it's not his property. That property belongs to the property surrounding the salvage yard. And maybe for ease, he said he discovered that Mr. Kennedy referred to the South 75 location as the salvage yard and the 20th Street location as the scrapyard, which may make it easier to track of what they're talking about. So the scrapyard belonged to Mr. Kennedy. The property surrounding the scrapyard belongs to 3 different businesses. So I don't know if I'm on the right property on the map, because I'm not quite understanding the area very well, but I think I might be near it. And it says it was one of the other pieces of property. So it's just pretty horrific. And like I said, you can keep reading this. So, and it talks about the family members and how they're so upset, and I would imagine. And then it's talking about I couldn't understand if he said we are or we were still waiting on cellular telephone records, and that they requested additional video surveillances from businesses in the area. I wonder if the 3 other businesses have video surveillance. And talking to and the hotels. If there's a hotel in the area, a lot of times they have good video surveillance. And some places, sometimes they have video surveillance so good that you can see like a block or two away on their videos. So anyway, it just depends on the business and the type of video footage they have. And then it talks about how they've been working so hard, and I would imagine. So we should always stop and pray for the investigators as well as the families and the victims and anybody that's involved. You know, I would even pray for Mr. Kennedy's family and everyone. You know, I would imagine that these people had a lot of friends and loved ones. I just don't feel like, personally, in my opinion, I can't imagine belongings being more valuable than someone's life, but that's just my opinion. You know, if somebody was in my house and breaking in my house, sure, I'm going to shoot them. But if they're in my yard and they're stealing something out of my yard, I would be really angry and mad. But I don't think I would shoot somebody in my yard. You know, we've had people steal things out of our shed. We've had people steal things out of our camper, even the dishes that were in the cabinets of our camper are not there anymore. But, you know, and the dog goes crazy barking in the yard when somebody's stealing stuff from the shed or when they're stealing stuff from the camper. And we have cameras, but I got to tell you, I wouldn't shoot somebody in the yard. I just, you know, unless they're breaking into my house and I feel like my life is in danger, then that's, you know, that's a different story. But, and I'm pretty sure that this might be the area, but I could be wrong. So feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I tried to find it. I'm not sure where the 20th Street is, so I thought it was right here somewhere, but because they mentioned 20th Street. They mentioned 75, and there's the Deep Fork, that's that river, so I'm just not sure where 20th Street is. I'm trying to find it, but I don't know. Some of these I don't see the name of the street, like I don't know what the name of this street is. And then we have some over here. So anyway, like I said, please pray for them and feel free to leave comments and let me know if I'm not even in the right area. Because like I said, I'm not sure where 20th Street is. So, but anyway, I hope you found that interesting. And like I said, don't forget to pray for their families. And it's just so horrific. And thank you so much for tuning in and have a great day. Bye-bye.